What led you to that story? What appealed to you about that story?
Well, in 1953, I was looking for research on something else I was writing that I never completed, and that went away. But the script that I wrote in 1953 was one of 11.
You wrote 11 scripts in 1953?
From 53 to 62, I wrote 11 screenplays and shot the first.
You wrote 11 different versions of The Nutty Professor from 53 to 62, and then ended up going back and shooting the original.
To do the original, right. And the beauty of it was that at the time, I was into Robert Louis Stevenson. I couldn't believe his work, and I fell in love with the idea that man can be as kind and as good and as sensitive and as loving as you may want. But every man has got a good and a bad side. We all get up in the morning hoping to seduce the world that we're around, hoping they'll accept our genuine feelings of sensitivity and so forth and so on. The two characters played like a charm.
Yes.
And I had to be very, very careful because I was starting to have so much fun with it. I was forgetting the important center post. And the center post of Jekyll and Hyde was always his battle, not to go in the bad place, but to stay in the good place. And what made it right was when I dressed Kelp, when I took him into a rehearsal and watched him give of his innermost feelings to the camera for the first time. That's when I knew I had pay dirt.
When you watched Professor Kelp do that?
Yeah.
Not Buddy.
Now, Professor Kelp, when I had to shoot a close-up of Kelp, and I was uncomfortable, I said to my first assistant, I'm never going to get this today because I don't feel like Kelp. Get my shoes. They got my shoes, and I turned into Kelp so perfectly that everything I did that day was gold.
The shoes did it?
Yep. It took my body to a place where